Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the QuickDisTakes podcast, episode number 10. I am your host, Tim LeBeau, and today we have I'm going to call him a special guest for now. Hopefully, perhaps a new co-host, Mr. John Cascano.
Hello.
All right, John. So, I guess I'm so used to calling you John, but I think on this show we're going to call you John. We're going to keep it short and sweet. Just real quickly, kind of give us off the top of your head an insight of what your dealings are with Disney and maybe how often you and your family visit the parks. And
Well, it started when I was 3 or 4. We went family trips. Probably went 3 times before high school. High school, I was in marching band, and we did our senior trip to Disney, and I got to march in the night parade at the Magic Kingdom. And since then, it's it was a little break, and then
was that parade the same one that Chris Castro marched in?
yes, we got to go backstage for a little bit, and I don't even remember it. It was so quick. Then I didn't go again. Did I go again? No, after high school, I didn't go again until I believe I got married, and we had our honeymoon there. And then ever since then, it's kind of been an every other year trip as of right now, since we've had kids.
And it does help that your wife is a big Disney fan as
Yeah,
well.
she was part of the reason why I got so much more into it. I was always into Disney, but she made the like for it bigger with her. She'd go I think she'd go almost every year with her family.
Yeah, I remember when I first met her, when you first introduced me, she had immediately talked about Lilo and Stitch. I want to say the first time I even interacted with her. So she was, that's her favorite movie, right? I believe. Disney movie?
I think I think it's her favorite. It's that or Beauty and the Beast, but it's that one that she's got all kinds of
that's one I always,
trinkets.
It's like synonymous in my head with her is Lilo and Stitch. Every time I see Lilo and Stitch, I always think Sarah likes this movie. And I like the movie too, but it just sticks out in my mind because you don't meet a lot of people that like have that one kind of towards the top of their list. I mean, it's a good movie, but she's probably the only person I know that really has got it like ranked really high up there. But
yeah, she's like the Caribbean, Hawaiian, all
yeah,
into
she
that
likes
stuff.
the feel.
So.
Yeah, I get it, and it's a good movie.
And Stitch likes Elvis, and she's very into Elvis.
See, I didn't know that. I just learned that. I just learned something today. Anyway, with all that said, and your little brief introduction here, let's try to do some news. First bit of news today. Comcast agrees to sell its stake in Hulu to Disney within the next 5 years and relinquishes control immediately. Comcast announced in a press release this morning that they have agreed to sell their 33% stake in Hulu in 5 years to the Walt Disney Company. They will give their voting rights immediately, however. Disney will assume full operational control of Hulu effective immediately in return for Disney and Comcast entering into a put/call agreement regarding NBC Universal's 33% ownership interest in Hulu. Under the put-call agreement, as early as January 2024, Comcast can require Disney to buy NBC Universal's interest in Hulu, and Disney can require NBC Universal to sell that interest to Disney for its fair market value at the future time. Hulu's fair market value will be assessed by independent experts, but Disney has a guaranteed sale price for Comcast that represents a minimum total equity value of Hulu at the time of $27.5 billion. Not bad. In addition to the put-call agreement, Comcast will extend the Hulu license of NBC Universal content and the Hulu Live carriage agreement for NBC Universal channels until late 2024 and will distribute Hulu on its Xfinity X1 platform. NBC Universal can terminate most of its content license agreements with Hulu in 3 years' time, and in 1 year's time, NBC Universal will have the right to exhibit on its own OTT service certain content that is currently licensing exclusively to Hulu, in return for reducing the license fee payable by Hulu. Okay, so that was like a mouthful. In essence, I would say Disney is just getting more stuff, and as a Disney fan, it doesn't excite me because I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be a bad thing for the entertainment industry for Disney to literally own everything. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today at the gym, and he was saying that I think Fox only put out like 9 movies all of last year, and they're cutting it down to like 6 this year. I mean, I understand now that Disney owns Fox. But my point is, how many, off the top of your head, how many other movie studios can you think of right now? Sony, I'll give you one. Sony, it's the only one that comes to mind.
DreamWorks, because I mean, you're talking like.
Now, is DreamWorks a subsidiary of Universal?
I don't know if it's. What's Steven Spielberg's? Is it Amblin? That's not a movie studio, it's a producing studio.
Yeah, so you can't.
No, I can't.
I guess the point is, and I can't either really. Amblin is a subsidiary of Universal, I believe.
So,
I'm guessing because there is an ET attraction in Universal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's licensed or if it's part of it or what. But the point is that we just made here clearly is that it's hard to even think about who makes anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I mean, right now the content seems to be pretty quality, but is that going to take a hit sooner or later when everything just kind of Disney's kind of, in my mind, a little formulaic, not in a bad way per se, but if we keep getting it over and over and over again, is the formula going to become a little bit trite or repetitive or whatever word you want to use, where you're not getting any competition from anywhere? It's like, I liken it to this. WWE used to be way better when WCW existed. WCW went away. Now it's junk.
Now it's them, and I see the example of they put out the last Star Wars episode, and then they put Solo out, and it was a bust. Instead of keeping it to the Christmas season, as you know,
they should have.
And then now they possibly could have ruined any future Solo sequels,
which was a shame because I thought that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked all the Star Wars stuff that they've come up with just because I like Star Wars, but they just might run themselves thin in. And
they just announced another trilogy for 2022, 2024, and 2026.
Yeah, and now they pushed back this. We've been waiting for Avatar for how long too? Now that's got pushed back a whole nother year. And they can do it whatever they want because who's gonna come out with anything that's gonna compete with them? I think they might be tested with this Marvel thing too, because how do you come back from making that much money in Endgame? Anything else right now is going to be a disappointment. Yeah, and once again, a friend of ours, Scott, was really into the. I'm not totally into the Marvel movies. I kind of keep up with them. I haven't seen Endgame, I'll admit it, but he was even saying, he's like, I'm not sure I even care about the cinematic universe now that Endgame's done. It's like, how much more can I take in? Yeah, I saw the first Avengers, and then I took a break, and then a sick day, and I watched everything that was on Netflix, and I kind of got back into it, and I went and saw Endgame. And I didn't understand I never saw every detail of every movie, but I don't know what they're going to do, because that was, from my little knowledge, that was a pretty good ending to 10 years of a story. And I look at it and I say, I don't follow it that much, but I will get to it. I will watch it, but I don't know the exact numbers. I don't want to spit out numbers here, but I want to say it's in the double digits of what they have in the works for more Marvel movies. So, I mean, I'm assuming this is like they're going down I know it bounces around anyway, I guess. So some stuff happens after Endgame, some stuff happens before it, even though the movie's after it. Like, I don't really understand it entirely, but I'm sure that they're kind of working it that way, and I guess there's more stories to tell with each one of these characters. I heard Black Widow's getting a movie too. Yeah. Well, now they have another Hulu platform. They can put more stuff on that. And that's the other thing, is where is all that going to go? A lot of people are worried they're going to break up the networks that are on there and then start offering packages so you have to pay to get one or get two together or get three together. I already know they're talking about packaging Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN together. Yeah. I hope they don't break up the networks out of Hulu, because that would just be kind of getting shiesty. But they're a business and they're going to try to grow, and I can't imagine they're not going to do that somewhere down the road. Oh, yeah. If it'll make them money, they'll do anything. You cut the cord on cable, and then you're going to pay us the same. You have to get this service and this service and this service. Just add up the same. And it's just going to get, exactly. You're just going to be in the same boat again with the same kind of thing, except you're going to stream it off the internet instead of getting it to your house. You can never win.
So on a more positive news, there are photos of construction walls are coming down on the Epcot Disney Skyliner station. As the testing continues on the Disney Skyliner gondolas, we noticed today that the construction walls are now down at the station near the International Gateway at Epcot. There's obviously still work to be done, but this gives a closer look at the Epcot station, and more importantly, kind of exciting to think that this thing's going to be up and running. I think I got a feeling by Memorial Day maybe. I mean, these things.
I hope so.
You're looking at them now. They're taking off all the covers.
I saw the pictures of the covers removed,
and they're cranking right along. It seems.
Yeah, I've seen the test videos. I mean, I don't know the whole detail of how many hours they have to have these tests. I don't know if that plays a factor into them still saying fall. If you gotta test the thing for so many hours
I'm
before
looking
it's
at
safe.
Yeah, and it's saying it's scheduled to open in the fall, so that hasn't changed. But something tells me that's not going to be the case.
I would
especially.
think. Oh, good.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, especially because Galaxy's Edge is going to open early now, and I think the whole point of that fall opening was to kind of coincide.
That was on my mind. It's just another way to move people around with the volume of people that are going to be there.
I can't wait to see. Well, at first, I think when this opens, this is going to kind of be almost like a new attraction at a park in a sense of you're going to get long lines just because people want to try it and kind of like see the different views you're going to get of the parks and all that stuff that you don't normally see. When we were off the air, you mentioned how you were kind of excited to do the Run Disney so you could see backstage. Well, this is going to give you a couple of those kind of peaks too, I guess, from what I understand anyway. And so I think it's going to be popular out of the gate. But it just makes me wonder how long or how quickly the lines will move. Like, how long are you willing to wait to get on a gondola to move, just to get to a park or back to your resort?
The trip we're doing this summer, we're staying at Pop Century. So I'm hoping, it's not till August, so I'm hoping these are open because it'll be right there for us.
Yeah.
And anything with my kids, my oldest son, our first trip, his favorite ride was the monorail. So this would probably go right up their alley with as their favorite, one of their favorite rides.
You save yourself a fortune.
Yeah.
Just drove up into the ticket, took them on a loop constantly.
Yep.
Hey, it used to be the fastest ride on Disney property for many years. So maybe he's onto something.
But I don't know if I mean I'd like to go on them, but I'm not a big fan of cabins hanging from a wire. Like
Why is that?
I think of the worst. I refuse to go on Ferris wheels when we go to places, so I don't know.
So get on the piece of.
Although I have been skiing, so it's kind of like that. And,
it's essentially the same thing. I mean,
but at least skiing, there's snow underneath you. If you fall, this is I don't know.
So your mind's telling you that if you fall into the snow, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not though.
No.
But I just find it funny, and I feel the same way to some degree. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's funny that we're going to get on a piece of metal that's going to go 36,000 feet into the air and go at 500 miles an hour down to this place, and that's fine. But we don't want to get on
these little things.
It jets around on a cord. I think it gets. I'm not sure what the max height is on it. It's actually not that crazy. I've seen something. I don't have it in front of me, but I've seen something about the max heights, and it doesn't go too crazy. But it seems to move pretty well from the test footage I've seen. Although I think some people were playing with it because I had seen some YouTube videos, and it looked like the people on the ground were walking extra fast too. So I wonder if they were speeding up the.
Yeah, I did see a video like that, but I thought they said like 13 miles an hour was the average speed.
Something like that.
Something in that
should
range.
Be decent considering. I mean, if you take 13 miles an hour and you don't have any stoplights or stop signs or anything, I mean, you're probably getting there faster than you are in a bus. And while we're on the topic, when I went to Disney a bunch through the 90s. About 3 or 4 times in the early 2000s. I took a little break in between when I was kind of getting my life together and job going and everything. But the point I'm getting at is those earlier times in the late 90s and the early 2000s, I actually thought the bus system was pretty sweet. I find it to be like awful now. I don't like it at all. I hate waiting for them. They put the screens up in the bus stops. Well, if you stay at a value, I believe it's one stop in front of the building. But if you I've been staying at moderates lately, and they'll have like the individual bus stops for the areas of the moderate, and they'll have a screen up, and it'll be like, your bus will be here in 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is. Or it won't even say 20 minutes. It'll say like, if it's 11:30 on your watch, it will say like 11:35 or whatever it is. Problem with that is, if it changes, they just change it. So you're like, all right, 5 minutes. Then all of a sudden you look back up to 11:42 now. Look back up to 11:50 now. And there's just no explanation for any of it. Yeah. And this happened to me one day to the tune of 1 hour. And I just honestly, we've been Ubering and lifting around the property ever since.
Yeah, so, I've never had a problem. I mean, I'm knock on wood, I've never really had a problem with the buses. I think the last time I went, they had just started introducing those the screens with the times. Okay. So maybe it was a little more efficient when they first started. But I mean, I just like the free aspect. That,
of course.
I mean, I don't want to have to rent a car and all that, but
yeah,
it's just you just have to deal with it, I guess. Or
what I find is when we've been going is when I have the Lyft app. For whatever reason, this could be complete coincidence. When I'm there, the last 3 trips, they have given me they recognize that I'm on Disney property, obviously, because I have my notifications and I allow all that stuff for them to know where I am and everything. And they offer me half-price trips the day I arrive, every single time. And so when I really, really need to get somewhere, like I have a dinner reservation or something like that, I get a Lyft. It's literally at the front where I'm at in like literally 3 minutes or less. And it costs me $6 with a tip, maybe.
Yeah, see, I've never used Lyft, Uber, or anything, so I have no. But I know a couple days we're doing the early breakfast, so that makes me nervous. So maybe this trip I'll try the.
Where are you doing the breakfast?
Oh, when we go, we're staying off property like two days prior.
Okay.
So I know we have to leave, that, but I know when we're on property, I think we're doing. I know one morning we're doing the Cinderella's Royal Table, and I know we're doing Crystal Palace and the Disney Junior Play and Dine one.
Okay, so they're in the.
So
parks.
I know those are all breakfasts.
Okay.
I don't know which days.
The point I was going to make, if you were saying, was when Lyft really comes in handy, is if you say you're going like Chef Mickey's, which is another resort, they don't have buses so that's when Lyft is like. That's when I kind of discovered the convenience of Lyft there. Because I did that, it's just like boom, right to the front door. A lot of times, Carrie and I will do we did a long night one time. We were just tired. The bus lines were a mile long leaving Magic Kingdom. We walked to the Contemporary because their little area where they sell food and everything stood open a little bit later than our resort at the time too. It had better options. Got a beer or a glass of wine, or not a glass of wine, but a little plastic bottle of wine or a couple of snacks, and then called the Uber and just Ubered from there to the. And it was like I want to say it was like $4. And sometimes after walking those parks all day, it's like, you know what? Get me in. I'm not completely against the buses. I use them and stuff, but I guess my point is I do sometimes like just want to supplement. If it's not being reliable, if it's something I really want to get to, I got a fast pass, or we did Disney after hours last time. That's a specific time. You don't want to be late for something you just paid for. Things like that. Yeah. So hopefully this gondola, what I'm getting at is this gondola is going to bring a more reliable overall transportation system to Disney.
And, it'll free, in the grand scheme of things, it might free up people waiting for buses, so maybe the buses will be a little more efficient.
Yeah,
move stuff around.
And what I was thinking with the times I was telling you about was when it goes to station, I'm wondering, does it think it's going to get there at that time, and then fill up 3 stations early and can't take any more people, so it has to leave the property, and then they have to reset time, and then if you're, the way the monitors are set up, there's like 10 stations. If you're like station 10, you're in bad shape if you're trying to get to the Magic Kingdom, and the Magic Kingdom bus is coming through and picking up 9 stops before you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Disneyland Resort shared a new 360-degree video today that gives guests a look around the chess room inside the queue for the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run attraction. Smuggler's Run opens May 31st in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland Park, and then obviously August 29th, Disney Hollywood Studios. Not much to say here, pretty straightforward, and that is that it just looks awesome. It looks like I would imagine the Millennium Falcon chess room would look like, and everything, any bit of scene I've seen from the movies growing up and things like that. We were just talking off the air about how we think it's going to work, because I heard, and it looks like from the pictures, it's not going to be roped off. So I'm wondering if it's going to have like a virtual queue element to it, where they either call you by a color or number, or somehow whatever they class, or I guess it's going to be themed out. I'm sure there'll be some kind of theming to it where you get some kind of thing with some type of foreign alien encryption on it, whatever it is. Is that what it's going to be? So you can kind of just sit down, it looks like here at the chess table, and let the Wookiee win, or are you going to? Are we going to have to line up in more of an orderly fashion? And if that's the case, it's going to be annoying because people are going to be off to the side freaking out about the chessboard and not moving along.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
It might be tough to get your turn on things. It's just, I don't know, but it looks insane.
And I would imagine that right around that corner is where you're going to go into the actual ride that you see here.
Yeah, it looks like the little hallway to the.
So is that maybe that's going to be like a pre-show room almost, where you kind of the line ends and you get into that room, almost like in a lot of attractions. When you go into Dinosaur, for example, and they have the whole spiel about what your mission is going to be. I'm not saying they're going to tell you that in there per se, but maybe it's just kind of that kind of same thing where they let, like the Haunted Mansion stretch room where they just put, they shove, I don't know, 100 people in there, 200 people, whatever, and kind of single them out from there. I'm not really sure, but with the way the ride system works, from what I understand, it kind of being on a rotating track and you're only putting 6 people in the cockpit at each time. Yeah. I'm not sure if that would be how they'd want to go about doing that. But I think the loading for this ride is going to be weird. It's going to be something like very different than what we've ever seen before. Because, like I said, think about it only being 6 people per vehicle. And to understand that it's going to rotate continuously. Like, you can throw 6 people in, boom, it's like a record player. It's going to move. The next cockpit's going to be empty again. You're going to go on over and over and over again. But I just wonder what, and I'm sure the numbers are out there, and see what the load capacity per hour is going to be on that thing. And I hope it's high because it's going to be a lot of people wanting to go on it. So I'm going to do something on the show I haven't done in a while because I haven't had anyone to do it with. And that is have a discussion topic. And I want to discuss today the future of Hollywood studios because, as most of us know, it seems to be pretty bright. You got Toy Story Land open now, which I had to admit I thought was going to be really kind of bleh. I was actually kind of impressed with it when I went. I thought it was actually kind of done well. It was, I'm not saying it's great, but it was better than I thought. Did you happen to?
I was there I was there a little before.
Oh, so you missed it.
I was there August of 2017, so I was there. I saw the walls, but it was before they did it. So I'm looking forward to definitely seeing it. The Toy Story is my favorite of the Pixar movies, so.
Yeah. Were you kind of in the same boat I was, though? Like, did you look at it a little bit and say, like, I'm not really sure if that's going to be cheesy, kind of seem carnival-y?
Yeah, at first, and then seeing the videos, like, of people who've been there, it seems, besides the big nose shade type thing, but it just seems very well themed with every, they put all the details of everything in there.
They really did. I walked in, and it's funny you mentioned the videos because my wife gets mad at me. She's like, why don't you want to be surprised? I'm like, I can't. Like, as soon as Star Wars opens, I'm watching the point of view video. I have to see what's going on. It's still gonna be entirely different when you get on it yourself. So I don't look at it that way. But anyway, it's funny you mentioned that because you do. Like, I already knew the layout of the land when I walked in. Like, I knew everything. I'm like, walking around the corner, I'm like, yeah, so flying saucer is going to be down there. And my mother's like, have you even been here before? I'm like, I know, but I've watched Tim Tracker and, like, Mickey Views and this guy and that guy walked through this thing 100 times already. But anyway, yeah, and you're right. What you see in the video is what you get. It's themed out well. The roller coaster is a family-style roller coaster, but it's, like, done pretty well. You get a little thrill as an adult. It's not something you don't want to ride. It's fun. Like, my mother would do it, for example, and she doesn't really do thrill rides. So it's, like, right on that cusp. Yeah. But it's done pretty good. I would say it's done better than, as far as thrill goes, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It pushes it up another notch, I think, as far as enjoyability for the adults go.
Yeah, from everything I've seen, it looks fun, and then you get that little view into Galaxy's Edge too.
Which is awesome. As we're all curious right now. I didn't do alien swirling saucers, by the way. Just the line was a little long, and I was like, I'm not waiting for that thing. But it's a gobble up crowd kind of ride. Obviously, just throwing something in there. But I heard at night it's cool, and like the lights are kind of cool. They do some music, and I'm sure it's fun.
From the thing, I really like the look of it at night with the Christmas lights hanging.
Yeah,
it definitely looks Interesting.
It's a flat ride. And I always get, and if you listen to my podcasts, which I know you have, and some people hopefully that are listening have, I'm not a big fan of Disney flat rides. Like when they throw, like Dumbo's classic, that's one thing. But when you get a new flat ride, you're like, look, I couldn't get an e-ticket attraction out of this. I got to have a flat ride. So I do get a little bit about that. But look, they fill the land out, and I'm sure. I mean, they're getting a sit-down restaurant in there now, and it'll start filling up. And hopefully they'll get, and Midway Mania is still there, and hopefully they'll get one more bigger kind of dark ride or something there at some point. But
or maybe something will come out of the Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Something.
Something tells me that this is not going to be the last one either. They keep saying, like, 3 was supposed to be the last one, now it's 4. And they're all good. So until they make a bad one, why stop?
Yeah, the toys don't age, so they could last forever.
Yeah.
Milk that thing.
You could just pass it over to the next. I mean, literally, our kids could be watching those movies. Like, newer versions of those movies. Anyway, so that was a nice, welcome addition to the park. We'll cover the obvious first. Galaxy's Edge is opening up in, 3 months now, right? Yeah. Just about 3 months. Thoughts on that? I mean, obviously, I know what you're going to say, but...
It's just going to completely change that park, how everybody said, oh, Hollywood Studios is only a half-day park. Now it's just going to be Hollywood Studios is a park I can't go to because there's so many people there. But just from any little detail or thing they've shown, it just looks absolutely insane how immersive and detailed that's going to be. And then on top of that, when they put the hotel, it's just going to be, you'd spend your whole vacation there.
Want a box of tissues? We're going to cry.
I might need one.
No, it's going to be amazing. It is. I keep forgetting about the hotel. Like yes and no, you know what I mean? Like when someone brings it up, I instantly remember, obviously, but I keep forgetting that that's going on. Like that's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just going to be like, that's your, from what it seems like it's just going to, that's going to be your, at least a 2-3 day vacation, because it seems more like like it's a cruise ship type of like vacation. So,
yeah. And we're going to spend a fortune to do it.
Yeah,
but we're going to do it. Like I'm going to do it.
Of course.
There's no way around it. I don't care if it's $700 a night. No. I'm going to do it at some point.
If I can live in Star Wars, I'll do it.
How can you not do it? And people, they kind of snark at that price point. But if they're going to run a 24-hour operation, and from what I understand, I heard different rumors. It might be like done in 3-day blocks, not just as a guest, but like they might open it for 3 days, close for a couple of days to restock everything, and get ready for another block of people as far as operational goes, or the operation of the place goes. So that makes sense that that's expensive. The overhead there has got to be like insane. You have actors in character 24 hours a day for 3 straight days. And I don't even know exactly doing what, but whatever it is. And if you're like doing an adventure, and if John Castano decides to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and wants to continue his adventure, then I guess they got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I can see why that's going to be pricey. Plus, like, you have to look at it in a couple different ways. You're going to bring your family, probably. I'm going to bring my family, probably, and that's the boat we're in. But, I mean, theoretically, if this opened up 10 years ago, me, you, Chris, and Scott might just be going and throwing in 1/4 each, and it's not really that expensive when you look at it that way.
No, that still might happen because of Mike,
Yeah, we might have to. We might not be able to afford any other way.
I mean, if you got little 6 and 4-year-old kids, they're not gonna.
That's the other thing about it. It's a good point you bring up. Is that maybe we will do it with our families, but it might be an entirely different experience just doing it with 4 guys who want to just kind of geek out for like 3 days.
Yeah,
because that's like it's almost like I could actually see like bachelor parties to go into this thing, things like that. Why not?
Yeah,
right?
you can see when the movement, people that grew up in the 70s and 80s, that was their childhood, and now it's their chance to live it, and it's just
it's if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self and say this might be a thing one day, you would be like, no way, basically.
Oh yeah,
and now it's happening, and I wonder what the availability will be for it. Like, how long are you going to wait to get a reservation for this thing? It's going to be a while, right?
I would assume so. And then who knows if if they do set it up like cruise ships where you have, this is your allotment, but this is the itinerary of, they're doing it this these 3 days of this month or whatever.
Yeah.
If they only do it 20 days out of the month, it's like you have to.
And I think that's
have to-
going to happen. Yeah.
You'd have to set it up like that, and where
I think it's going to happen.
you have to go by their times. It's not by when you're available, more of their availability.
Yeah. And that makes sense because, like I said, I mean, you're going to have to. The logistics of this are going to be insane to keep it operational. That thing's going to be fully operational. But yeah, you bring that up, and that's a good point. So that's jumping kind of 4 or 5 years into the future here, or actually, that might be even by the 50th, they said. So maybe not even 4 or 5 years, maybe in a couple of years. But either way,
I think they've started doing stuff as of now.
they are clearing. Yeah, I heard they're clearing, and you know how fast that goes after that. But what I'm wondering, forget about the construction. How long is it going to take to kind of really get this thing running right? I mean, this is something no one's ever done before. It's just in my mind, I can't even like visualize how you would do this really. How you would have people readily available. Like I said, if John Castano woke up at 2:00 in the morning, like I'm gonna have my Star Wars adventure right now, while the kids are asleep. And then people are gonna be ready to respond to you.
And they all got to be connected in this. They know that you're part of a story, and they have everybody has to know everything about all these people, and
that's crazy, really, to think about.
They're gonna know what your score was or how you did on the Millennium Falcon ride.
And I mean, obviously, it's in your Magic Man, but still.
But then
how much of a heads up do you get?
Yeah. And then they have, it's gonna be something.
There's gonna be some hiccups at the beginning, so it's probably worth waiting a year or two before you try to get out in that thing. Who knows if we're even gonna be able to get in that quickly? Though, if we continue to re-up our annual passes, maybe we'll get some kind of a benefit, for having those. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, Galaxy's Edge is going to be obviously amazing. Smuggler's Run is opening on the 29th. They pushed back, and this is speaking of logistical problems. Do you think they're having a problem getting this Rise of the Resistance ride going, or do you think this is just like strategic, like to open it later? Seems weird. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be a little of both. Maybe they are a little behind, so now they're just going to push it a little further to, I don't know,
control the crowds.
And then their money, whatever, when their quarterly earnings, and if you open something, this and that goes up higher, it changes their money numbers.
Yeah, because that quarterly, I believe that quarterly earnings is right there on that cusp of when they're opening up this one now, like right around October, I think the fiscal year ends. Yeah,
because it seems like that's what they're doing with the Mickey and Minnie ride too. To just
oh boy, they really pushed that one back.
It's but then logistically with the Rise of Resistance, it just seems it's nothing anybody's ever done with this ride before.
Exactly.
It's just it was a big idea, and now they just have to.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready, but here I'll throw this at you. Get your opinion. This was originally supposed to open in late fall, so are they still on track? Technically, they were just like, well, is it this? We're on time with Rise of Resistance. We're way ahead of schedule on Smuggler's Run, so let's open it in phases. So that's opening at the right time anyway. It stays where it is in November, and this one just happens to be opening a couple months earlier. So technically, we're not behind.
Maybe, but then
because they're not giving any like specifics on when that's going to open, though.
No, they've only said later this year, which.
So I guess Disneyland will tell the tale because they're going to be a little ahead of everything. So if that gets up and cranking there, and maybe I don't know, but that's a route. I mean, I want to ride Smuggler's Run. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I want to ride it all night long. But Rise of Resistance is the one I really want to ride.
Oh yeah, just reading the details of it
looks sick. Now I use Galaxy's Edge to kind of segue here, because that's obviously going to be the awesome part of the park now. The thing is, that whole side of the park now, where the Muppets are, Indiana Jones, Star Tours, that's the real question. Any theories? What you think they're going to do with that? I mean, Star Tours can't stay there forever, right? It's just weird to ride a Star Wars attraction
and then go into
like 100 feet away from a land. I'll show you my theory, you show me your theory, and we'll see where we're at.
Are they going to use it for every Star Tours ends in the Batuu, and then you exit the ride into the land, maybe?
There was my theory. Now, all you got to do really is kind of clean up a little of the area in between there. And is that essentially an expansion pad in itself?
And,
I mean, there's a tunnel going in there, but you could just tweak a few things, and next thing you know, you're getting out of an airport and going into the two.
Yeah, maybe.
Although I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like Star Tours. I used to feel like it was dated, but recently with like the tweaks and everything, I kind of feel like it's all right again. It's kind of fun. Maybe you could just retheme that to something else and use that ride system. Although I don't know what you would do, because the other thing I was going to bring up is with the Indiana Jones. I feel like that's going to make its way into the park somehow. I mean, obviously it's a stunt show already, but what I mean is like maybe in some coordination of a ride, like they have in Disneyland. Now I'm sure you've watched enough YouTube videos. They've heard the rumors that they were going to do that not only in USA, they were going to replace that. But that just seems kind of out of place. Especially the way Hollywood Studios is going with all those kind of IPs in there anyway. Why wouldn't that just kind of go over where that kind of area of the park is? And there's plenty of room. And the Muppets, I mean, I love the Muppets, but it kind of seems like a dying brand. So,
I'm hoping it's not dying.
I am too, but I mean...
I'm hoping, because they said that they're doing they're bringing back the Muppets for the streaming service. So I'm hoping that kind of gives it a little revival. And now I know the Muppet Babies show as a resurgence is as popular with
your kids watch that?
Kids. They do.
Yeah, my daughter watches that. It's not as good as the one we had, but it's all right.
Yeah. No Scooter. I don't like that.
Well, yeah.
They're missing characters, but
well, I wonder what made them phase those guys out. They did some kind of like. They searched some kind of like demographics and charts, and somehow came up with the idea that those weren't popular enough to keep on. It's weird. Still have Nanny though.
It seems like a younger Nanny too.
Still has the socks.
Yeah, you just see the legs.
That was always bothering me. I used to always think they were going to show it one of these days when I was a kid. They never did.
Yeah, it's always a mystery.
Anyway, don't want to get off track. All right, let's go with your wish and say. Muppet Vision 3D gets a facelift, a new video. It's great, blah, blah, blah. Now you're really talking about what do you do? I guess at this point you have to go full-fledged Muppet Courtyard over there, right? Because in front of the tunnel with the Galaxy's Edge. I mean, even if you do that, you can get rid of Star Tours. Either demo it or repurpose it. I would say demo it at this point, especially based on what I'm about to say. And then... I mean, I think they should upgrade the Indiana. I think the Indiana Jones show is good. They should upgrade it, get that a little more modernized. But I think it's a good idea, concept. It's fun, and then throw an Indiana Jones ride over there, and maybe not clone the other one.
Yeah, come up with something new based on. I mean, you could base it on something that's not in any of the movies, just something.
And even if it is in the movie, I'm just talking like ride system wise, because I heard. Have you seen videos of Pirates in Shanghai Disney?
Yes. I
heard they're going to use. This is a loose rumor, but they were looking to maybe do something like use that kind of technology to make an Indiana Jones ride. And I think that kind of technology needs to find its way to a domestic park at some point, because the ride looks amazing. Mm-hmm. And obviously, they're not going to replace Pirates with that. I don't think they would ever think to do that. No. Or the show buildings would even be big enough to do that.
No.
But maybe that gives them an excuse. Now, you walk into that park, and that left side of the park. Neat, how often are you over there? Think about when you go. You're more towards Sunset.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that was the majority of our time. The last time we were there, you go over there to see something new for the day, but the majority of the day is on the other side.
We did Indiana Jones recently, and I hadn't done it in a while. That's what I was saying. It was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I remember liking it, but I just hadn't really remembered. Aria had finally made the hype for Aerosmith. And I usually do Aerosmith, but I was just wasn't in the mood that particular time. My aunt wasn't from Poland. My mom was here, so she took Aria. I was like, I'm going. So Carrie took her on that, and we just, to kill time, we went over to Indiana Jones. And I was pleasantly surprised, like I said, by that. But that makes me just think to myself, I'd never come over here, though. I'd never come over here other than to kind of go over to Star Tours real quick, or maybe hit the Sci-Fi Cafe if we eat there.
Yeah. That's what we did. I mean, I think the last time we went is the first time I ever even went into that little gift shop they have that was Indiana Jones themed, and it was pretty cool.
I don't even know if I went in.
It's kind of.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but I didn't go in.
Yeah.
See, I should have went in there.
I'd never been in there, but it was.
Indiana Jones. I mean, you might as well put it in there, get it in there more.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't like it? I mean, the newer one sucked. They're making another one. Hopefully, that's good. The original 3 were good enough anyway, and when you make a new one, it'll generate. Your kids will watch it. My kid will watch it. It will generate interest, and if the ride's fun, no one even cares. Look at Avatar. No one cares about Avatar, but the rides are good, so they do it. But anyway, to speed this along a little, we're gonna go Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Looks awesome and all that good stuff. I bring this point up to you though. I don't know if you heard they're getting it in Disneyland, and people are kind of complaining a little bit because they were able to stick it into an existing building that tells, I guess, small the ride is, or how whatever the reason is, they're able to do that, and that's fine. But the argument is, why couldn't we spruce up? Why couldn't we refurb the Great Movie Ride and make that awesome and update it, and put Mickey and Minnie's in there too somewhere, instead of having to replace it? I mean, in my opinion, the Great Movie Ride is kind of iconic. I love that ride.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for this one, but if they were going to tell me that they were going to refurb that one and bring this one, I would have been a lot more on board with that.
Yeah, it's something that the park probably could have used more, having an extra ride instead of a replacement ride. 'Cause
Yeah.
at least you could. Yeah.
Don't you feel like they just mistreated the Great Movie Ride in a sense? They just never wanted to go in there and be like, I'm just going to be silly here for a second. Forrest Gump's iconic now. Let's get a scene where we get an animatronic Tom Hanks sitting on a bench,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the licensing rights and things, whatever, but my point is, you have enough, especially now. This would have been the time, too. They bought everything up.
Yeah.
You could have literally had, the most ridiculous Great Movie Ride, and now they don't have it. That makes you wonder, I could see that concept coming back one of these days down the road, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was a good concept. The stuff was old. That was kind of the big problem with it, I guess, right? It was old attraction in general, plus the movies are really old.
Yeah.
I mean, Arya goes into Casablanca, and she's like,
Yeah. What
is this? But The Wizard of Oz scene was awesome,
Yeah.
generationally.
Yeah. Everybody everybody recognizes it no matter what age you are. My kids recognize it.
Alien was awesome. Even if you didn't recognize it, Alien was just awesome. I mean, maybe your boys and my daughter probably got a little scared by the alien.
Yeah.
But overall, it was still kind of cool. You were scared, but you were kind of like, this is cool all at the same time, right? So all you had to really do is yank a couple of older ones out of there and just, I mean, I'll spitball fire off the top of my head, but just fix those scenes up a bit. You don't think it would have took much, I guess is what I'm saying. And they probably could have done away with the cheesy, kidnapping scene they had in there.
Yeah.
Carrie always complains about that. She's always like, that's kind of chintzy. And I never really thought of it until she pointed it out.
You could add a couple more scenes, something. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, yeah, it is kind of
silly.
cheesy. Yeah, I got a Jersey accent. Yeah, see? And apparently there's a Wild West one that happens when it's busy and there's two cars in the ride system. I never experienced it.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I've seen it on
either.
YouTube, but I never.
Yeah, I think I just got the mobsters.
But I guess the bottom line is here, all right, we're getting a new attraction and it does look awesome, so it'll help the park. It just maybe would have helped if they added a ride instead of replacing a ride. But in the right direction, I suppose. So let's bang a right down the Hollywood Boulevard. I guess we don't want to talk about this, but I think it's going to happen. I think that the Tower of Terror at some point is going to get a facelift to some other property. I don't know what. But with CBS having the Twilight Zone now and all that kind of stuff, and it being a competitor on the streaming service market, I can't imagine this is going to stay there that much longer. And also, what do you think? What would you imagine they would do with that?
I don't even have a thought.
I know, right? I had this one thought. I'll share it while you're thinking of yours. And I don't think this is going to happen, by the way, but it'd be cool, something Universal would do. I would say, you have it. You theme with the aliens, and you have to escape the aliens through these shafts. Something like that.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that ever being in that park.
No.
I was actually surprised you even got that scene in the Great Movie Ride because it was kind of scary for kids. And you bring on the Great Movie Ride and you're kind of going along, nothing's really scary, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, and
that one
that
scene, it's like,
scene's
boom, we're in a haunted house all of a sudden.
Way different than any of them.
Yeah. Although it was really cool. But if they retheme that, I guess they could just take the Guardians of the Galaxy idea from...
Could that whole section of the park become whatever they can use for Marvel? Part of the park? I mean, I don't know.
The problem with that is, and when I say this, you're going to think to yourself, yeah, I didn't think of that. Guardians of the Galaxy is already going to Epcot.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So are they going to put...
the same thing in two different
doubt
parks?
it.
Yeah.
So that makes you wonder, but it could be another Marvel thing. I mean, Spider-Man theme, you can't do that east of the Mississippi, never mind. Yeah, because they're kind of limited on their Marvel stuff too out here in the Orlando parks. So I don't know what they would do, and maybe we'll come up with ideas in future podcasts, but they're definitely going to do something with that. And I just hope it sucks. I don't... The theme I try to keep in my channel is that I'm always for change, but man, the Twilight Zone theme in that is like so perfect.
Oh,
I hate to see it go. Because I don't feel like it's outdated itself. But then again, okay, with the CBS show, it's a little more raunchier, so kids aren't really going to watch it. So Aria goes into Twilight Zone. She has zero idea what that is, right? And probably never will know what that is. Your kids will never know really.
No.
I mean, other than what you show them. So the excitement for that is not that great. I don't know. They're gonna have to. They're gonna retheme it to something. Maybe that's from Indiana Jones, right? I don't know. There's been rumors that there's gonna be a Monsters Inc. land, like mini land, out that way. But is that family friendly enough to incorporate a monster? I mean, I guess they could slow the drops down. I don't know. I hate to see them do that too. But I've heard they're been leaning towards gutting Aerosmith out to get the whole, the doors in the movie.
The door roller coaster. Yeah.
And I mean, obviously they would have to replace that track because you can't just reskin that. I mean, most kids, my daughter's like a thrill seeker, whatever you want to call it, and she's into that, but a lot of kids aren't, So you're gonna bring your 8-year-old on the Monsters Inc. door coaster when he's launching?
Is Monsters still big
relevant
enough to? Are they planning on making more? That's something
they seem to think it is because at least a lot of YouTubers do, because I hear it constantly brought up, and they have access to insiders. So I don't know. Me personally, I don't hate the idea of Monsters Inc. getting something, but I don't know that the Aerosmith roller coaster is where to go. They're not gonna knock down Tower of Terror. It's literally the icon of the park. So. I'm kind of, on this one. I'm kind of just left speechless, even as far as opinions go. What they would possibly do with that?
Yeah, that one's a tough one to think of something.
Like I said, the best thing I can come up with is Alien, and I know that's not going to happen. But it's not even the slightest chance. But it just kind of fits the mold. I was trying to keep my mind going with like Fox properties they just acquired that could use to do something with that, or if they would even want to put any Fox properties in a park. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, last but not least, Aerosmith, which we already just kind of touched upon. So time for the whole Aerosmith theme to kind of get out of there, you think, or
something needs to be changed? Just because even if you watch the video, they don't look like that anymore. It's like Steven Tyler's a different person.
He really is. He looks like a puppet.
And it's just, I don't know. Even the video, the quality of the video isn't like when you first went in there and saw it. Oh wow! Look, now it's just like that.
Yeah, you're just talking the pre-show here now.
It's a video screen. Yeah. So and then
wait a minute, they're not there. It's bad. I know.
Yeah.
I made that joke twice on the show now. But yeah, you're right. And can we just talk about? I did this on the overrated segment. I want to bring it up again. Get your opinion on it. Can we just talk about how kind of like that ride? It's a roller coaster, so that's all fine and good. But if you were riding that roller coaster and actually seeing that another park has this coaster, it's not indoor, it's not that great of a coaster, right? It's just whatever. And then when you go in,
because you don't get
The
any.
effects are, it's like a carnival ride.
You don't get any height really, and it's not like
No.
it's just.
And then, how do you feel about what you see when you're in there?
It's just neon colored road signs. So
They could have done better. Like, I don't know.
I think maybe the little innovative thing was at the time was music playing while you're riding a roller coaster.
That makes it good. That does make it enjoyable. I will agree with that.
But then that's already.
And like every coaster ever should do that now. That
Yeah,
really
that should
brings
be-
it to another level. I agree with that. And they were actually saying that when they did the Guardians version of Tower of Terror, they were saying because of the rock and roll music on there, it just gives it a whole better
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
So I think it works in a lot of thrill rides. But Johnny had mentioned off the air that this was a tweak that he wanted to bring up too. So we're going to kind of parlay all this into the end of the show here. And that is, his suggestion was that we could maybe get a couple different videos in there, and maybe every time you go in, you get, and this is just obviously him spitfiring.
Yeah, like a random. You
get
pick
a different band.
10, you could have 10, 20 different bands, and you just. It's a random thing.
Now, I guess the only problem, and this wouldn't be a problem for me, but I guess Disney might count this as a problem, would be what would they name it? Because
We could still keep it rock and roller coaster. You just get rid of the.
yeah, that's not bad.
As long as you keep the bands as rock bands, which,
Should be easy enough.
it's just a matter of getting them.
Paying more bands,
to,
which Disney,
you have to pay them, and then
which they are, I hate doing.
is it going to be the same story for each? Like every band's giving you
Yeah.
backstage passes. That's the only. A little, but even if you just get maybe not 20, maybe a handful, it's just something
5 of them. Just say
different,
5.
and then you get a different song, whether it be because it always plays. It does always play the same song, does it?
No, there's a few.
Is it randomized? I haven't been on it in a
You
while.
get
But,
Love in an Elevator. You get Walk This Way. I want to say.
but even if you have the handful of bands, you could have the handful. Then they have a handful of songs, so you can get something
Yeah,
different every time.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
No.
But I'm 100% on board with what you're saying. I'm, as we talk about the Monsters Inc. and everything, I don't know if I'm overly thrilled about the Monsters Inc. idea because I feel like that's just going to turn that into a family coaster. And I feel like Disney Miles will keep at least one throw ride in there that's like a legitimate throw ride. But,
And at least it's not a Disney IP. It's something
yes.
different.
Yes. And that's the other thing is why I don't think it's going to happen is because they are just obsessed.
Yeah.
They're absolutely obsessed with the IPs.
Just getting their stuff. Yeah. That's,
So...
at least
Get ready. I think sooner than later, really. I think that's on its way out. Which, honestly, if they did your idea, I'd be for. I'd like to at least see how that would play itself out. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. But if anything, if they just eliminate Aerosmith from the attraction and go in some other direction, I think anything's welcome at this point. I was thinking, too, like, no one's really brought this up, but you got Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy over there now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could probably do something with cars in that space, like the launch.
Yeah.
But I guess you would have to figure out like the track and all that stuff. I don't know, and I don't think they would ever want to build something based on cars that was like chintzy with like the neon light and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something. I mean, Cars is still.
Like, what's going on over there? Why is that over there?
Yeah.
I don't think that's I've heard mixed reviews on the attraction itself, but I've seen the Lightning McQueen animatronic.
Oh,
They put some money into it.
It looks really good.
It looks good.
It looks
So
real.
Something's going on there. I mean, obviously they're going to use it to eat up some crowds. I get that part of it because you get the Galaxy's Edge, yada yada yada. But now it puts a really weird feel to that side of the park. So are we going to get more cars, or are we going to just Pixar it out? Because they do that sometimes. They throw that like Pixar,
Yeah.
which is weird, right? In a sense, like, are we going to have a Lucasfilm like side of the park? It's usually Toy Story Land, but you got Pixar Pier, which is just generalized, and you got Toy Story Land.
And then
And have Toy Story Land and then Pixar Land. Like, I don't you know.
because we split up because they have the Incredibles section over near Toy Story Land too. And
Yeah, is that going to be a temporary thing that you think?
unless they're gonna, just change it out to more Pixar things after so long,
I don't know. And I don't feel like I like the Pixar stuff. I think we all do to some degree, but the problem with that is then you got like because Finding Nemo is Pixar too, right?
Yeah.
So that's already in Epcot. It's all kind of all over the place.
yeah.
And so if you're gonna like really narrow it down to the Pixar area, it doesn't really work in that capacity. And not only that, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. I'm fine when obviously things are there for kids and that's good. But I don't think in general people get too excited about Pixar films as much as they do a lot of other. And Toy Story is a big one.
Yeah.
I guess The Incredibles are now. And I think we all like that. But and then you're probably going to get, another thing is you're probably going to get Coco in that Mexico pavilion at some point. That's probably going to happen. So now you're going to have, it's going to be a mess if you do it that way. So I don't know. No, thinking a lot about it now, going all over the place, but it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. All right, that's going to do it for this week's show. I'd like to thank Johnny for being here. I really needed a co-host. If you like the show and you want to help the show out, the best thing you can do for us is tell your Disney or non-Disney, whatever, friends about us and encourage them to check us out as well. If you have any questions about the podcast, and if you're watching or listening on YouTube, feel free to leave them in the description box below. You can hit me up on Twitter. I actually changed my handle. It was originally at the backside of W1. It is now at QuickDisTakes, which makes a whole lot of sense, I think. If you want to email me, feel free at thebacksideofwater@icloud.com. We recently just started an Instagram account as well, so check us out over there. Keep an eye out for more content on the channel. We have a video coming out on whether or not Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is an e-ticket attraction, so keep your eye out for that one coming up here shortly in the next few days. Check out the weekly blogs where we kind of bounce around, checking out things in New England. We were at the Patriots draft party. Actually had a really cool one today that should be out in a couple of days. I don't want to give it away, so keep your eyes out for that one. And we'll see you next week. We're going to change the date on the or rather the day of the week on the show too. I think we're going to be hitting and posting these up on Fridays as opposed to the Monday-Tuesday schedule. That way there we can fit the free form in at the beginning of the week. So definitely keep an eye out for that kind of shift, and I'll be giving, on Twitter and things like that, I'll be giving more information about that as it comes along. But anyway, I'm your host, Tim LeBeau, and this is...
Johnny, whatever anybody wants to call me.
Okay. Call him whatever you want. Call him... Never mind. And this
Don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah, don't call him late for dinner. There you go. So this is a Quick Biz podcast, and we'll see you next week. Have a magical rest of your week.